there, I felt like I had family, and I had an extended family, and I created relationships that to this day I still cherish.
I went looking for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and you saw me and you heard me. You listened to the cry of that little girl in 1966, and you listened to the cry of thousands of little girls since then.
They taught us to think about others first. They taught us how to bring out the best in others, and to give of yourself was truly a great experience, and something that really did change my life.
I gotta say that if not for that basketball coach eradicating that word can't, I probably would not be here today. There would be no Neo, because I would have listened to the first person that told me that I can't, and I wouldn't be here.
I believe very strongly that the best decision their leaders ever made was to admit girls in 1990. Girls have arrived and are our future.
I just never thought, as a 13-year-old girl attending the Boys and Girls Club of San Pedro, that I would go on to become the first African-American female soloist for the American Ballet Theater in over 2 decades.
I consider the Boys Club home. And if they think enough of me to put me in their Hall of Fame, I'm humbled by the occasion.
I want to thank Mr. George Brown, who was my father from the time my mom and dad dropped me off at day camp until the time they came and picked me up that evening. He was my camp counselor, a track coach, my American history teacher, but most importantly, he's been my friend for 35 years, and for that I am truly thankful.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Boys and Girls Clubs of America's annual Alumni Hall of Fame celebration. And now, your host for the evening, 2005 Alumni Hall of Fame inductee, award-winning actor and author, Courtney B. Vance.
I love that music. It really just gets me going, I just love that music. Thank you for the warm welcome. I really am, usually I come up here and I tell a story. I've been here since 2006, I believe I've been doing this, and I don't want to tell a story this time. I don't know if you all know how I got here, and I thought that I would do that this time. Is that all right? That's all right. Okay. We grew up in Detroit, and my mother and father were looking for a safe place for my sister and I, and it was the boys' clubs at that time, and I was just glad to be in that wonderful, wonderful space. And while I was there, and I did everything, I met Mr. Brown, and Mr. Brown ended up being a camp counselor. I didn't know anything about that. He was a teacher at Detroit Country Day School, a prestigious prep school in Detroit, and so he encouraged my parents to get me to apply for a scholarship program. And I remember I applied for it twice, going into the 8th grade, and I passed it, but they didn't let me in. And I don't know why they didn't let me in. I passed that test, you know what I mean? That's another story. But I got in the 9th grade, I passed the test, and I remember the summer that summer, when my dad and I were in the house cleaning the basement, we were always doing chores. That's one thing with my parents. You better clean that room, boy. And so we were down in the basement doing some work, and he said, "So, son, where you going to high school? You going to?" I said, "Daddy, I know I can't go to Country Day. It's too expensive." And but I'm going to St. Mary's of Redford. And he said, and I remember it like it was yesterday because I knew my life spun on that moment. On that moment, he said, but your mother and I have decided to sacrifice and send you to Country Day. The entire family was going to have to sacrifice. Even with the scholarship, it was going to be a lot. And I got to that school, and I was at the school 16, 17 hours a day. I had 3 sports. I did every club there was to do. I couldn't understand why people weren't doing as much as I was doing. I didn't understand that. But I couldn't get enough of the place. And I remember my teacher pulled me aside. My freshman English teacher pulled me aside in the 11th grade. I was big man on campus. I was. She pulled me aside and she said, Kay Slaughter was her name. She pulled me aside and she said, Courtney, do you know that the entire school is watching you? And because I was fooling around, just being a little class clown, getting my grades, doing all I was supposed to do, but she said, do you know that? I said, And you never know when someone's going to speak into your life. Thank you. I feel my mic up a little bit. I appreciate that. You never know when someone's going to speak into your life. She spoke into my life. I came back in my senior year. I was razor sharp. I was on point, and ended up, going to Harvard and Yale and all those things. But the key to everything for me, I'm very clear, was that moment in the basement when my daddy said, do you know that we're going to sacrifice? And so I spent the next 4 years doing everything I could to pay him and my mother back. And when they gave the award for it's called the Headmaster's Cup, for the student that most embraced and embodied what the school was about. And I knew I wasn't going to get it. I know I didn't get the athletic cup because our quarterback was getting that, and I know I wasn't going to get that. And so I said, Mom and Dad, just, come and, I'm going to Harvard, and, we did it. We did it. So when they announced the Headmaster's Cup and they called my name, and the whole auditorium stood up, and I was in shock, and my mother was just crying, but I didn't see my daddy. I said, where's Daddy? And I turned around, and he was sitting in the chair behind me, tears just. And when you have done something for I could never do enough for my parents. There was nothing I could do to pay back. But I was going to try. And before he died, he knew. And that's what we do while we do. It's you all, the counselors that speak into our lives, you all, the quiet heroes that nobody potentially says anything about or to, and you all are the reason that we're here. And as I said, I could tell a lovely story. I have one right here, but it's not about that. It's about you. It's about our heroes. You're my hero. Mr. Brown, if he was still with us, if I saw him, I would just fall down on the ground and just weep. And I wish I could just see him again to thank him. I couldn't say enough to be able to thank him for all that he did for me. He was my history teacher. He was my track coach. When my father died, he was there at my house with my mom. I came in town and Mr. Brown was there, right? Was the first person there when they found my dad. So it's this place is family, and because nobody really, lifts up the counselors and young people, they may or may not say nothing to you. They may not say a thank you. I want to say thank you. I want us all to applaud yourselves or just, I want all the counselors to stand up. And can we give them a round of applause for all that they are and all that they do for all of us, for all that they are and all that they are doing. I sat with the 2003 Youth of the Year this afternoon, Miss Maisha Hicks. And my. Yeah, that's this family right here. I can feel it. Miss Maisha, bless my heart, because I remember it was just little Maisha with the big eyes, and now little Maisha, 17 years later, is a podiatrist and got a 3-hour surgery tomorrow. So she got to go home because she got a 3-hour surgery, and she's doing a half marathon that she's training for next week. So, go for it, go get it. But you probably don't know, but I'm a big. I don't know if any of you have seen the Avengers. Have you seen the Avengers movie? Anybody who hasn't seen it, what's wrong with you? But I'm a big fan. I'm a Captain America and a Spider-Man, and my personal favorite is Wakanda Forever. Hey. And I saw a TV commercial for Avengers Endgame that ended with our heroes going to battle to save the world, and with the tagline, "Whatever it takes." So that got me to thinking, and who are today's heroes? And for sure, they're police and firefighters and military service people and teachers and janitors and parents are all our everyday heroes. Every day, like they do their jobs to keep us safe. They do whatever it takes to take care of us with little or no fanfare. And there are other heroes we take for granted too, the staff people who are working, the club staff people who are working full-time, taking the time to go to a high school football game to support a club member or a staffer who sees pain in a club kid's heart, so they talk to him or her regularly and give her comfort to talk her through a difficult time. The common thread here is that heroes do whatever it takes to make people feel safe and achieve success. And that's why we love this new brand campaign for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, Whatever It Takes. It really reflects the essence of the club experience. And every day across America, today's heroes, you make sure kids get a healthy meal and do their homework and learn skills to help them succeed in the future. And that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do. And so thank you all. Thank you all again for all that you do for all of us. So without any further ado, I'd like to, before I get into the meat of what we're doing tonight, I have a little bit of housekeeping chores here. I usually have someone to help me hand out these big awards. They're pretty heavy. And, I haven't been having my Wheaties as much as I should have been. And so I usually have a beautiful young lady to come up here who's usually the Youth of the Year in one region of the country or the National Youth of the Year. But this year it's Miss Ryan Walker, the National Military Youth of the Year. She is the Singapore. This girl has been all around the world, and I. So she's the Singapore Child and Youth Program, and I just thought, you're here already? I was going to bring you out so you can get a whole. No, you go back. Go on back out here. Come on. Go on back out here. We're going to bring you out. That wasn't her introduction. I was still talking. But she's been, where was I? Yeah, she's been all over the world. And it was so beautiful to sit and talk with her about her experiences and why, this is this whole experience of going around. And I said, where are you going to school? He said, next year I'm going to NYU. And I said, oh, we got to start. I would have kept talking to her and finding out more and more. Anyway, Miss Ryan Walker. Can we give her a round of applause? That's pretty special when you got your own intro music. That's nice. That's nice. Did I have some intro music? I don't think so. Anyway, we actually have the national, we also have with us to help us tonight is the National Youth of the Year, Mr. Malachi Haynes from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Denver, and he's going to help us when the young ladies come up and go back down. He'll help them come up the stairs. Can we give Mr. Malachi, the Youth of the Year, National? Where are you, Malachi? Show yourself. Show Malachi some love. Malachi, come up here. Come around. Come around. Because that was your music. Keep his music going. Come on, Malachi. Take a bow right there on the X. That's the National Youth of the Year. Right there. Right there. The National Youth of the Year. Thank you, Mr. Malachi. You can go back down there now. Ain't nobody gonna help you get down the stairs, so you on your own. Woo, I'm on fire now. Okay. Okay, I folded over this page. Here we go. Welcome. I'm here now. I'm back. I get excited with the young people. I'm sorry. It's a good thing, right? Is that all right? That's all right. Welcome to the 2019 Alumni Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I'm very excited to be here. I told you that before. I'm already excited. Once again, we're live streaming this ceremony to clubs all over the world. That's a good thing, right? So for all of you watching at your respective clubs, welcome. Before we meet this distinguished class of alumni, please permit me a bit of housekeeping. There is a blue bracelet. I got mine on. From what I understand, if you don't have the blue bracelet on, you're not going to get to the after party. So I would advise you to find that blue bracelet and put it on. Okay, Frank, I've done that. Okay, and don't forget your Alumni Hall of Fame towel. I don't know what that means, but make sure you got that. If you're not going to dance, you can enjoy the music and scenery of the park. Oh, I see, on the green lawn. So if you want to sit down, gotcha. Okay. All right, what a great Alumni Hall of Fame class we have this year. We have a U.S. Army colonel who's learned to believe he could be a leader. Amen. We have business leaders from the healthcare and the media industries. Yes. We have a star NFL quarterback. And we have a star NFL running back. Y'all screaming like you know who it is. And we have two trailblazers in the fields of sports management and sports entertainment. Okay? So, without any further ado, let's get the evening started by meeting our first Alumni Hall of Fame inductees.
After immigrating from South Korea to California with his family at the age of 6, John Chu had a very hard time learning a new language and adapting to an entirely different culture. With some help from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Fullerton, he acclimated to his new environment. When he first started going to the club, John spent most of his time in the games room playing bumper pool. Then, when he was 15, staff member Joe Marziello took him under his wing. Joe saw potential in John he couldn't see for himself. To help him fulfill that potential, he drove him to undertake projects he was afraid to take on because he's never done them. In due course, the teen came to see something in himself he'd never known existed, something called leadership. John joined Keystone Club, where he volunteered over 1,000 hours performing community service. He was elected vice president and later president of Keystone Club, which under his leadership expanded to more than 50 members, most of whom identified as ethnic minorities. He found he liked the responsibilities that go with being a leader, building a team, motivating his teammates to achieve something greater than themselves for people in need. John attended the club through high school before moving across the country to attend West Point. He graduated from the U.S. Military Academy with honors, later adding a master's degree in environment engineering from Georgia Tech University and another master's in national security policy studies from the Naval War College. Today, Colonel Chu commands over 6,000 soldiers at Fort Gordon in Georgia. Despite a demanding career, his commitment to education, community, and Boys and Girls Clubs remains fierce, making time to volunteer for clubs in San Francisco, Philadelphia, and upstate New York. Please welcome Colonel John S. Chu.
Thank you, sir. I'll hold this for you.
Wow, I actually expected to hear the anthem or something like that to be played. I hope someone doesn't get fired for that comment. So I am here to recruit for the armed forces. Who wants to join the Army? Am I in the wrong convention? No, I guess I'm not. A couple more admin things before I get started. I was told that I have to wear this, but if you will permit, if I wear this out of uniform, I might actually get thrown in jail, so I am not going to wear this. I hope someone could allow me to participate in tonight's festivities. Is that all right? I got the thumbs up, so we're good. I'm going to toss it. And I don't know where the cameraman is, but if you could look at my uniform pants. For the ladies in the room, I am not color coordinated tonight. And for those that know the armed forces, there's a reason why my top uniform is dark blue and my bottom is light blue. It's not because I'm colorblind, it's just the way it is in the Army. Back in the Revolutionary War days, they would take off their jacket and they would do all the work in the field, and over time, their pants would fade. And so that's the reason why to memorialize or commemorate that kind of activity back then, our uniform is permanently out of color, or out of not out of uniform, but certainly I just want to make sure for all the ladies in the room that really care about that. I am very well dressed because of my wife, normally, but this is wonderful. The other thing that I will start off by saying is that as much as Courtney said that he loves Captain America, standing in front of you is Colonel Chu. I have a few more promotions than he does, but yet I don't get the same amount of respect. That's actually pretty good. Who taught you that? So I'm going to start off by reading a couple of quick snippets of quotes and see if you recognize them. The first one starts with, "I believe in America, the American way of life, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights." And then the second one goes like this. "I, Colonel John Chu, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic." What do those two quotes have in common? It's about service. It's about commitment. It's about leadership. And that's, in my opinion, why I am here today and why I want to share with you my story. There are 3 moments in my life, defining moments, and I'm sure we all have had those, that I could summarize my life up till today. And 2 of those 3 moments has direct ties to the Boys and Girls Club. The first one, which you saw on the video, is in 1979 when my parents decided to immigrate to California. I don't know what my life would be like if we had not. If I would be a Korean pop star singer or a movie star, maybe, I doubt it. But nonetheless, I am very grateful for the reasons why we came over to the United States to fulfill the American dream. The second is the day that my dad pulled me aside in grade school and asked me, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" Who's been asked that question before, right? And most of us would probably say something like, "I have no idea, Dad, and can I leave?" But he actually said to me, "John, it would be wonderful if you could go to the military academy." And my response was, "What's the military academy? Never heard of it before." The day after, I went to my high school counselor, and said, "I'd like to go to the military academy." And you might not want to hear what he said, but I'm going to say it to you anyway. He actually looked at me in the eye, looked at my records, punched it in the computer system, and said, "John, that's a pretty hard school to get into. I don't think you're going to make it. Maybe you should pursue something else." Of course, like the John Chu that I am, I decided to pursue, and you see where I am today. And then the last, thank you. And I know you're not like that. You're going to be encouraging, right? And then last but not least, the third defining moment in my life was the day that I stepped into the Boys and Girls Club of Fullerton. I know for a fact that officially when I was 12 years old is when I became an official member. But I know that prior to that, when I immigrated and I was 6, between the ages of probably about 8 or 10, I remember walking by the building and seeing the things that were going on inside. And being curious, I went inside, probably without permission, and I saw the bumper pool. And to this day, I remember the bumper pool. Right? Who loves the bumper pool? Let me hear you. Yep. But when I stepped into the Boys and Girls Club and then been a part of that club member as a 12-year-old, there was one person that was the biggest contributor to who I am today. There were many, but I want to call out, of course, Rocco, who used to be the CEO back then, and Joe Marziello. Joe Marziello was a part of the club in Fullerton, but then he moved on to Portland and to New York, and then eventually is currently with the Philadelphia club. But I will tell you that he has been instrumental in who I am today. He was that other father figure and pushing me along when my father and my mother and my 2 brothers were not around. He would be the one that would push me. And I use this term very loosely when I say this because if I repeated the things that he did to me, he'd probably go to jail. But we call that tough love. Tough love. I knew that every time he yelled at me and told me to do something, he meant it from the heart. And that he saw potential in me that I didn't see in myself. And so to this day, I still stay in contact with Joe. And I thank him, and I want to do everything I can in the military, in uniform, to help out when I can and where I can, which isn't very often, but I will commit to you that I will in the future. In the military, I've moved 15 times, and that's probably one of the reasons why I haven't committed so much into the Boys and Girls Club, but where I am, I do everything I can to reach out. I don't think I want to do those kinds of activities in Afghanistan or Iraq, but certainly there's help that's needed everywhere. And there's a saying in the Army, the strength of our nation is the Army, the strength of our Army are the soldiers, and the strength of our soldiers are the families. I will tell you that the strength of the Boys and Girls Club are you. You are the strength, and I want to thank you for everything that you do. There's also another saying in the Army. We say, Army strong. And I will tell you that when I see this room, I see the Boys and Girls Club of America strong. We are strong. Yes, we are strong. Thank you. That absolutely. So I just want to conclude by saying thank you. If I was really coordinated, I would actually have my phone ring at this time. And the reason why it would ring right now and I would answer that call is because I believe that I received that call from Joe and I answered that call. And I believe every one of you received that call sometime in your life and that you volunteered your time and you unwaveringly decided to answer that call and commit yourself to service, to our nation, to our country, to our citizens, and to all the Boys and Girls Club of America. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
When 12-year-old Joel Wernick and his family moved from Michigan to Arkansas, his parents suggested he might make new friends at the Fort Smith Boys Club. As parents always are, they were right. From the start, the club's staff and members made Joel feel comfortable and welcomed. It wasn't a place he had to go, but a place he wanted to go. The club had a unifying effect on its members. No one knew who had what or how much their parents earned. They were just kids having a good time. Joel spent a good bit of his time in the games room playing pool, ping pong, and board games like Chinese checkers. He got so good at the latter, in fact, he traveled to Little Rock for a statewide competition, winning the title of Arkansas Boys Club's 13 and under Chinese checkers champion. As he got older, Joel gravitated to playing competitive sports, basketball in the winter and baseball come spring. It was a big deal playing baseball under the lights at Hunts Park, the place for Fort Smith families to spend a summer evening. Joel was proud when he got his first baseball and basketball uniforms. The pride you feel being part of a team, a feeling that resonates with him to this day. Friendships he made on boys' club teams carried into high school, with almost every player on the school's state champion football team having some connection to the club. His subtle yet significant experiences at the club, the sense of fair play, judging people not by social status but how they treated others, influenced Joel's personal value system. After 30 years, Joel retires this month as President and Chief Executive Officer of Phoebe Putney Memorial Hospital in Albany, Georgia. The hospital is a longtime supporter of the Albany Boys and Girls Club in areas such as healthy lifestyles, organization governance, and fundraising. Please welcome Joel Wernick.
Good evening. Colonel Chu, I don't get a vote, but if I did, you'd have that star. And I think we need to watch the headlines because you're probably going to get it before long. Let me start by saying I'm very humble, and I thank all of you for this unexpected honor. It came as a big surprise. And I stand in awe at the members of this Hall of Fame class and those who have come before us. The time allotted is insufficient to adequately encapsulate what impact the Boys Club has had on my life and professional career. Time, and I guess age, doesn't allow me to recall all the names of the directors, coaches, camp counselors, but I will never forget how they made me feel and the lasting influence their guidance had on me. I was born in Michigan, raised in Arkansas, and lived the last 30 years in South Georgia. Somehow the club always seemed to be part of my life, whether through active participation as a youth, or perhaps more importantly, through the lingering life-influencing imprint it had on me. Why I do the things and what is of value to me. Some people nowadays, and we're out there always searching for talent, call these soft skills. Showing up on time, respecting your elders, finish what you start, treat others as you want to be treated. We usually learn most of these things at home. But my second home growing up was the Fort Smith, Arkansas Boys Club. So I did learn these things at home. As I reflected upon how the club experience imprinted me and those around me growing up, like my big brother Max, who's over here with me, and who in my opinion is every bit a Club Hall of Famer in my book. The club was teaching us things not as obvious as making a layup, fielding a ground ball, shooting bumper pool, ping pong, and yes, even playing Chinese checkers. Whether we knew it at the time or not, we were learning lessons that propelled us not to become, but who we became as adults. Things like picking up after yourself, putting things back where they belong, look out for the other guy. Trust is earned, not given. Teamwork wins games. I have had the good fortune to be associated with several clubs. As a very young person, I attended Camp Big Silver in Michigan, which was sponsored by the Toledo, Ohio Boys Club. I spent most of my formative years in my hometown of Fort Smith, Arkansas, and as a community leader and former board member and financial supporter in Albany, Georgia for the last 30. Reflecting upon each of those, Camp Big Silver has fond memories. It was the first time a city kid got to enjoy the great outdoors. And no doubt, it ignited in me a lifelong love of nature and the outdoors. It was also my first exposure to team activities. Our week at camp always involved whale boat races, and everyone had to manage an oar, 2 kids to each. If you haven't ever rowed a whale boat, it is either a disaster or poetry in motion. The lesson I didn't know I was learning: teams have to pull together to succeed. I also got a taste of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. As a youngster in that boat with 19 others, I learned that victory doesn't come without hard work, and that defeat is part of life. You learn from it and go on, always trying to improve, and that victory and defeat are just 2 sides of the same coin. My Fort Smith Club experience could fill volumes. I distinctly remember volunteer baseball coach Jerry Kerwin teaching us club baseballers the strength of team unity. To this day, I still share the 5-finger example he gave us in my leadership speeches. You know the one. 5 fingers by themselves are weak. Pull them together as a fist, and they become very strong. Unity being the important lesson. You saw the picture up there, and I don't know where they dug all those up. But you saw that it wasn't just me. It was almost all the members of that state championship team had some connection to the club. We shared common values. None of us were necessarily that talented, but we had the unity of teamwork, and it carried over into our championship year, ultimately into our adult lives. And if you go to Fort Smith today, you'll see members of that team as community leaders. Indeed, I consider myself blessed to grow up in Fort Smith, where community leaders had the vision and the commitment to have a thriving local boys club. The club didn't care what side of the tracks you lived on. We were all the same at the club, and that value system was an inherent part of the culture of my hometown. So when I moved to Albany, I was pleased to find out a robust boys club existed. This told me about the character of the community and its leadership. When asked to get involved with the Albany Club, I was honored, and my answer was an immediate yes. For the last 30 years, it has been a joy to watch and support the growth of the Albany Club. You will hear from other Hall of Famers, as I did earlier when I met them, but I can tell you a common thread. Each of us have not forgotten our roots. My formative years in Fort Smith paved the way for my persistent support of the club as a community leader. I didn't forget my roots. Lastly, a piece of advice to you club leaders out there. Be sure to branch out and get involved in other worthwhile organizations. Our local club executive sits on our hospital board, which employs over 5,000 health professionals and influences the health status of a 25-county region. Many are young boys and girls who enter the doors of the local club. Get involved beyond your local club. Lastly, to my friend Marvin Laster and all of the other great leaders here in the audience, I say thank you for what you have done. I thank you for what you are doing now. And I thank you for what you will do in the future to imprint the young boys and girls of America to become responsible, productive citizens of our great country. They and you will one day look back, as I have 55 years later, and be proud that I was a member of the Boys Club. God bless you.
At the Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Florida, Trinity McRae, best known as WWE superstar Naomi, discovered a creative streak that has served her well ever since. Club programs like athletics and the arts helped Trinity overcome painful shyness, helping her open up by socializing with other kids and forming new friendships. As a winner of state and national dance competitions, she also loved being on the club's step dance team. Miss Lingard was Trinity's favorite staff member. Though super nice, Miss Lingard was no pushover and would not tolerate bullying or mistreatment. That consistency and care gave Trinity a sense of security. The club made life easier for her mother also, who worked long hours and took comfort knowing her daughter was safe, sound, and cared for. After graduating from Oviedo High School, Trinity tried out for the Magic Dancers, the dance squad for the NBA's Orlando Magic. Displaying dance skills she honed at the club, Trinity made the cut, spending 2 years as a Magic dancer. She also performed around the world as a dancer for hip-hop stars like Flo Rida. But dancing couldn't satisfy Trinity's competitive fervor. In 2009, she joined WWE, where she was quickly recognized as one of its most athletic women. She reached the pinnacle of sports entertainment by winning the SmackDown Women's Championship twice, including an epic victory in 2017 at WrestleMania 33 in Orlando. A year later, she made history once again when she won the first ever WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania 34 as part of WWE's Women's Evolution. And since 2013, Trinity has been a featured cast member on the hit reality series Total Divas on E! In support of kids around the country, Trinity actively participates in WWE's Via Star rallies, speaking to youth about bullying prevention, emotional intelligence, and how kids can help put an end to cyberbullying by using social media to spread positive messages. Please welcome Trinity Fatu.
Now, Courtney, I know you like Avengers, but I'm a Game of Thrones kind of girl. If you watch Game of Thrones,
I'm a Game of Thrones kind of guy.
Okay. If you like Game of Thrones in this room, say, woo! Yeah. Okay, that has nothing to do with nothing. I just said it to break the ice because I'm so nervous right now. I performed at WrestleMania in front of over 90,000 plus people, and I have that same excitement and feeling right now as I do then, which is what I live for. I'd like to start out saying that I started out going to the Boys and Girls Club at about 10 years old, and I wasn't too happy about it. I wanted to go to grandma's house and play in the ditches and build mud houses and run around with my cousins all day and be a dirty, hot, sweaty mess by the time my mom came and picked me up. But life changed, her schedule changed, and the new plan was for me to start going to the Boys and Girls Club after school. I threw a fit, I didn't want to go, but what mom says, go. So my first experience at the Boys and Girls Club is so funny because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go home when it was time for her to come and pick me up. And I knew from that day forward that this was a truly special place and that it's where I wanted to be. I attended the Boys and Girls Club from elementary school through middle school, and even through my high school years, I continued to go back, help out, stay in touch with the staff because it truly became like an extended family to me. At the Boys and Girls Club, I truly was able to grow as a young girl, coming from a low middle class family, a very hardworking family. There are a lot of things in my atmosphere and my environment that caused me to be very shy and timid, but through the Boys and Girls Club, I was able to find my voice, I was able to find myself, I was able to find lifelong friends that I still stay in contact with me and help me through my career and guide me to this day, and that I am truly grateful and thankful for. Thank you. I found my first niche in love, I think, for performing through the Boys and Girls Club because we had a step team. And once I got on that step team, that shy girl in me just went away. I realized when I was in front of people, something, a whole nother personality or me came out of me. And I liked that and I felt good about it. So from there, that inspired me, and through my mentors and staff members, I was able to see and find all these other creative things about me and my personality, and they helped me, guide me, and encourage me to pursue them, which is why I'm here where I am today, without a doubt. Thank you. That led me to my career here in WWE, and I'm so thankful to work for an organization and a company that gives back so much to the community. Through WWE, I was able to reconnect with the Boys and Girls Club through our Be a Star program, which allows us to visit Boys and Girls Club all throughout the U.S. and talk to the youth about bullying, anti-bullying prevention, and really connect and bond with the youth and kids. I feel with this platform I have and with this voice I have and these millions of followers and this huge corporation that I work for, I think that great success, or there's a quote, and I just went blank, with great, help me out if you know where I'm trying to go, with great, thank you, hello, thank you. That's the quote that I love, and it resonates with me so much. With great success comes great responsibility, and I feel like having this platform and creating this name for myself, I don't want to use it selfishly. I want to use my voice and who I am to give back, to help, to inspire, just like all the people that have helped me and inspired me throughout my life, and most importantly, through the Boys and Girls Club. So I think I've definitely found my purpose in life, and the Boys and Girls Club has been a huge part of that and contribution to that, and I will be forever humbled, grateful, and thankful. I am so appreciative to be in this class of so many inspiring and talented and great people that I met here today. I also want to thank the club executives, directors, the staff, the counselors that are all here in attendance. Without you, none of this would be happening. Without you, we wouldn't be changing lives. We wouldn't be affecting our youth. And I'm just so honored to be a part of something so meaningful and so beautiful. So thank you. Thank you very much.
After getting his membership card when he was 8 years old, Tom Ehlmann attended the St. Charles Boys Club about 20 miles outside of St. Louis. He remained a member all through high school. He played as many sports as he could at the club, including his one and only time boxing, which didn't quite agree with him. Nevertheless, Tom was in the gym all the time. If he wasn't, he was probably in the club's library enjoying some quiet time. He'd find a book, do some reading, and just relax. Tom learned about winning at the club, where it was all about who had the next game. If you won a game of pool, you kept playing. Win at ping pong? You kept playing. That winning attitude came to shape his life in a big way. Playing, competing, and making friends with club kids from different cultures and backgrounds opened Tom's eyes to the diverse world he lived in. He's been part of that diverse world ever since. As president and general manager of NBC TV in Dallas and across 40 years of managing major market media companies, Tom has continually worked to ensure his workforce mirrors the community they serve. Tom came from a working-class family. Despite his dad nearly always working 2 jobs, the family didn't have much money. And while their parents always told Tom and his older brother and sister they had to go to college, in truth, they couldn't afford tuition for all 3. So when Tom got a basketball scholarship to the University of Arizona, it was a huge deal. To this day, he credits the basketball training he got at the club for helping him get that scholarship and start his life from there. Tom is now in his 2nd stint as a board member for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Dallas, where he's helped develop 2 of the organization's biggest fundraisers. He's also involved running Math Blazers, a mathematics competition that gets kids moving while exercising their brains, like the Math Relay, where kids run to one end of the gym, solve a math problem, then run back. From the St. Charles Boys Club, please welcome Tom Ehlmann.
Thank you, Dallas. Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank the Boys and Girls Club of America for this distinguished honor. I am honored and humbled. My family is here with me tonight. My fantastic, beautiful wife, Kelly, our son, Ryan, who lives here in Houston, and my brother, Steve, and sister, Karen, who flew in from my hometown of St. Charles, Missouri, which is close to St. Louis. I would also like to thank Charles English and his staff from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dallas and salute the great work they are doing every day with our member kids in Dallas. We have a great team there. I got my St. Charles Boys Club membership card when I was 8 years old. I remember how I couldn't wait to get that card, because when I was 6, they built a brand new boys club about 4 blocks from my house. And now, 55 years later, I have a lifetime membership card. Who knew? The clubs have had a big influence in my life. I've learned so much from my many years associated with them as a member, a staff worker, and for the last 20 years, a board member. As a club kid, I learned about teamwork, competition, sportsmanship, and diversity. But my club story is really about playing basketball. We lived so close to the club, a walk or short bike ride away, that I could play every day. And indeed, there were years where I did play every day, year-round, as long as the club was open. And sometimes the staff of the club would open the club early or leave it open longer, just so myself and my friends could play what we wanted to play, and that was more basketball. Having these resources available to me, I was able to develop my skills and ultimately earn a full scholarship to the University of Arizona. 5 years before, my brother Steve had earned a full scholarship to Furman University by doing the same thing. These opportunities to play college basketball were life-changing for both of us, and we couldn't have done it without the availability and the support of our club. Being a club member also allowed me to meet kids from different backgrounds, diverse backgrounds. A better understanding of diversity helped me adjust to life as a student athlete, as well as life after college, and for me, throughout my entire 40-year career in the media business. Now, as president and general manager of both NBC5 and Telemundo 39 in Dallas, our newsrooms reflect the communities they serve, and diversity and inclusion is a core value. For the past 20 years, I have served on Boys and Girls Club boards in Houston, Chicago, and now Dallas. And I have consistently seen strong leadership at the top of these organizations, starting with John Havard here in Houston many years ago, and continuing today with Charles English in Dallas. Thank you, John and Charles, for your leadership. I appreciate it. Everywhere I have been, board members are dedicated and committed to the success of our clubs, and that success would be impossible without the hard work and achievements at the staff level of every club. Let's have a big round of applause to all the staff members who are here with us this evening. It has been a joy and a privilege to work with so many passionate people, and for me to be able to give something back for everything the club gave me. Thank you again to the BGCA for all that you do. I am proud to be a member of your organization for life. Thank you very much.
DeShaun Watson started attending the Boys and Girls Club of Hall County when he was 7 years old. While he enjoyed club sports programs the most, he also loved the Passport to Manhood program, which gave him and other young men a space to discuss their goals and challenges they were dealing with. DeShaun especially looked up to Mr. Caldwell, the club's teen center director, who'd played college football. When football practice and camps kept DeShaun from the club, Mr. Caldwell was still there for him. With permission from the club's executive director, he attended most of his high school games. If coaches felt DeShaun needed extra support, they asked Mr. Caldwell to visit with him at practice. And all through high school and college, he texted DeShaun words of encouragement the night before every football game. To help his mother pay for football camps and similar expenses, DeShaun worked at the club with younger members. By the end of the day, he'd be worn out, learning just how much work it took to be a youth development professional. Through the club's ballpark program, DeShaun and fellow members got to be ball boys at Atlanta Falcons games. He even got to throw passes to NFL stars Julio Jones and Tony Gonzalez, experiences that inspired him to keep working hard and pushing. Playing for the Gainesville High School Red Elephants, he was named starting quarterback as a freshman. After a record-setting high school career, he played college football at Clemson University, leading the team to the 2016 National Championship. Selected 12th by the Houston Texans in the 2017 NFL Draft, DeShaun was named to the Pro Bowl in just his second year. Today, DeShaun often returns to the club to speak with kids and also helps families in need in the community. Please welcome Houston, Texas starting quarterback, DeShaun Watson.
I didn't know he was coming up here to do a speech, man. This is crazy. So I didn't really come prepared for that. I mean, it's, first off, you know, just it's a blessing, it's an honor to be recognized. Standing on this stage with all the fellow members and alumni and Hall of Famers, you know, being at age 23, and so many people go through the Boys and Girls Club, and for me to be recognized at as a young, you know, young man so early, you know, it's truly a blessing. It's an honor. So thank you guys that, you know, selected me from the Boys and Girls Club of America. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, the Boys and Girls Club really taught me so much, you know, and led me to the person I am today. You know, started at age 7, being able to go in there and kind of just, as a bad kid, just running around, runny nose, just getting into some trouble, you know, for a couple of years, and then also being able to play sports. It allowed me to be able to, you know, continue to do the things I love to do, and that's play football, play basketball, soccer, baseball, everything that you wanted to do. It allowed me to meet my best friends today, people I grew up with since I was 7 years old, still to today. You know, we text each other, we got group chats, still, you know, encourage each other to continue to success and fulfill our dreams. It taught us, you know, like they said, how to become a young man. It was a group of maybe 12 of us that each and every day, or each and every other day, we'll grow in. You know, after school, we'll come to the Boys and Girls Club and, you know, sit in as a group. 12 young men, you know, that run around being bad. They teaching us how to become a man, the things, the responsibilities, how, because I grew up without a father, so I didn't know how to become a man. My mom, single parent mom over there with 4 kids. Yeah, so for me, I didn't have that father figure at home. I didn't have that structure on that side. So, you know, I had to learn from her, but also at the Boys and Girls Club, I had to learn from all my mentors. Derek Caldwell is here, is somewhere over there behind me. Yeah, Derek is one of the mentors. I call him Uncle D. I mean, he's just one of the guys that was a part of the manhood for us as a young age, who, you know, taught me how to become a man, taught me how, you know, to take responsibility in your actions and the things you do. And whenever your mom needs you, no matter how old you is, you know, you're going to make sure that she's going to be happy, she's going to be safe, and she don't have anything to really worry about. So, so yeah, just for me, I was just a young kid just growing up. And I always had dreams, you know, to make the NFL, but where I come from and how I was raised at the early age of my, you know, childhood, those dreams and those stats, I mean, it was very slim. It's probably 1, 2, maybe 3 of us that actually, you know, made it to the level I'm at. And it's probably maybe two of us that still, you know, standing and continue to, you know, play at this level. So honestly, you know, growing up, a lot of people just, you know, of course, yeah, they see a young guy playing football. He's very good and getting recruited. But they didn't think I was going to be at this stage. But, you know, allowing me to go through the Boys and Girls Club and have those mentors and people that never doubted me, people that always supported me, sending me inspirational texts, sending me things, even when it's bad, but also when it's good, to continue to keep me motivated, keep me humble. It was just a blessing. And, you know, it opened up so many jobs for me. Like I said in the video, I was probably age 16 and, you know, working as a counselor at the Boys and Girls Club. And I remember telling D, yo, man, this is going to be easy. Y'all got the easy job. I'm sitting here with some young kids, and I just let them go play around, and I just sit here and make my money. I'm good. But, yeah, by the end of the day, I came in there, I sat down and said, man, I need a nap. I need a nap. This is hard. Way harder than football. So you can have this job. That lasted for a summer, and I kept it pushing. I wasn't doing that no more. But, yeah, as I got older and I got to high school, I was able to be able to, for the first time, you know, dress up in a suit and tie and go interview for the ball boy job at the Atlanta Falcons. So Gainesville is 45 minutes outside of Atlanta, northeast. The Falcons facility is literally 10, 15 minutes from where I was raised. So, of course, we used to always see the Falcons players around. They used to come out of the Boys and Girls Club. And the opportunity came up. So I got dressed up in a suit and tie, interviewed, and then right on the spot, gave me the job. And as a ninth grader, this is where I want to be. I have the opportunity to go to training camp, be around all these professional athletes in the locker room, be around Matt Ryan, Tony Gonzalez, Julio Jones, Sean Witherspoon, Asante Samuel, get to meet Arthur Blank, all these great, you know, professionals, and, you know, and see how they work each and every day. So I had that job all through high school, which was a blessing, you know, for me to be able to get recruited, and then also, you know, go to the games on Sundays and get a full experience, you know, with the Atlanta Falcons. I already knew the routine, everything once I got to college and once I got to the league, how everything was kind of approached. So I'm there, you know, Sundays 2 hours before, you know, the team get there. I see the players come in. I see how they prepare. I see how they warm up. I see how they, you know, get focused for the games and everything. So for me, it was this, you know, if it wasn't for the Boys and Girls Club, I'm not sure if I would have had that, you know, that step and that full experience to be able to, you know, get to the position and the spot I am today. So thank you again, D, for that opportunity, because it wasn't for you, honestly, you know, I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to, you know, be blessed and, you know, be where I'm at today. But yeah, really just. But yeah, I mean, just the Boys and Girls Club taught me so much: leadership, fellowship, build chemistry with all types of people from all areas of the world, and just continue to, you know, for me to use my platform and continue to give back and inspire young kids, like it did for me when I was a young kid. Because if it wasn't for, you know, the Boys and Girls Club and the people I met, I wouldn't have been as motivated and inspired as I would have been, you know, growing up, you know, with my career. So, yeah, thank you for everyone coming, showing up, and God bless.
Like many kids, the club gave Denise White a safe place to grow, to learn, and to get some TLC when she needed it most. The child of a mentally ill mother, Denise and her twin sister Diane entered foster care due to their mother's medical condition. A few years later, Denise was placed with her grandmother, but separated from her sister, who was adopted separately. After moving to her grandmother's home, a friend introduced Denise to the Escondido Girls Club, which later became the Boys and Girls Clubs of Escondido. After the trauma of custody trials and bouncing from foster home to foster home, the club was just what the 6-year-old needed. Club staff took extra time with Denise, helping her emerge from the tough space she was in mentally and giving her a newfound stability. For her grandmother, the club was a vital support system, As Denise's sole guardian, whose only income was a monthly Social Security check, the club gave her much-needed breathers, secure in the knowledge her granddaughter was being taken care of and cared for. Denise later enrolled at San Diego State University, where she interned as a traffic reporter. That gig went so well, she was offered a job in Oregon, where she completed her degree at Portland State University while working as an airborne traffic reporter. In 1994, Denise won the Miss Oregon USA pageant and advanced to the Miss USA pageant, where she was named Miss Congeniality. Soon after, she returned to San Diego to co-host a morning show before relocating to LA as a tennis commentator for ESPN. In 1996, Denise's love of sports led her to open EAG Sports Management, providing professional athletes with career management services. Over the past 23 years, she's built EAG into a major player in the sports industry. A member of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Escondido's Alumni Hall of Fame, Denise is an active supporter of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southwest County and several animal welfare groups. Please welcome Denise White.
I told the young man escorting me he had to hold on a second because I had to pull up my pants because my Spanx are making them fall down. Whoever invented those things, thank you, Lord. At least 10 pounds. That's all I asked for, is at least 10 pounds. Anyways, I got a little emotional watching my own video because I saw a very special person, my grandmother. She's been gone for a while, but first of all, I want to thank all of you. I don't really think you know the impact you have on these children, and I'm going to get into that in a minute, but I just want you all to give yourselves a round of applause first and foremost. I also want to thank and acknowledge all of the inductees, because what a class of great people I'm in with. I'm usually the behind-the-scenes woman, and I've lived my life a lot of that way, for the most part, except for that little Miss Oregon thing. But I am very comfortable behind the scenes, and to actually be in front up on the podium and speaking behind DeShaun Watson and before LaDainian Tomlinson is it's definitely an honor, and all of the inductees are just absolutely amazing. My story isn't the traditional one with the club. When I started out, it was the girls' club and eventually merged into the Boys and Girls Club. But mine isn't your normal story. I was, as you heard in the video, I was a twin born to a mentally ill mother who also had an absentee father. And unfortunately, due to my mom's illness, we were thrown into the foster care system, which at that time was very different than it is today. Grandparents had no legal rights. They didn't try to keep siblings together. They just threw them into homes and hoped for the best. We were put into a foster care home that wasn't exactly the nicest of homes either, unfortunately a bit abusive. But by the time I turned 7 years old, my angel found me, my grandmother. You can clap. She was an amazing woman. The unfortunate part about this story is that my sister and I were separated, and we were separated by the legal system, and I didn't find my sister until I was 19 years old. She was my twin. So, but don't worry, it has a good ending. We just celebrated our birthday together in Cabo last week, so. It has a very good ending. It has a good ending. But when I got to my grandmother's, I was in need of a lot. I was full of uncertainty and a lot of loneliness and just not too sure where I was going to call home. And lucky for me, my grandmother lived across the street from a lady by the name of Janice Baker. Janice died last year, but she was the administrative assistant at the time for the Girls Club. And she told my grandmother, I think Denise needs a home. And it's not just your home. She needs a home that she knows she's not going to be pulled out of. She's going to get love and care. And for the biggest part of all this, she's going to feel safe. Because that's what she needs. She needs to feel safe. And my grandmother, God bless her soul, was like, let's try it. Let's send her there. Let's see how well this goes. Because she was scared. She was scared to leave me. You know, I had come from some very traumatic situations. And I remember going to the club, and I just remember how I felt when I got there. And there were kids, and we did all kinds of great crafts, and there was games, and we went on trips, and I just remember how the staff made me feel. It wasn't necessarily, I listened to all the inductees and how they have sports and mentorships and education, and I got all of that from the club, but the biggest part I got from the club for me was safety. I finally, at age almost 8 then, felt safe. And as I said earlier, I just don't think you all realize what you do with these children. Some of you teach them, some of you mentor them, but for the most part, you all make them feel safe. And that's a big thing for a 7-year-old little girl. Thank you. I'd like to tell you how this story comes full circle for me. 1996, this little spunky young woman at that point decides she's going to dive headfirst into the sports industry. Little did she know that at the time she'd be the only woman trying to open up the business that she wanted to open up. But that was nothing, as far as I'm concerned. I met a gentleman by the name of DeShaun, pay close attention to this, Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez had just started his 2nd year in the league, and I just started the idea of having a sports management company. And together, Tony and I were raised in the business. I worked with Tony 14 years out of his 17-year career. And along the way, I've had the chance to work with hundreds of NFL players, NBA players, MMA, tennis, soccer, and the occasional bull rider. True story. But in the midst of all of that, and in the midst of working with all these athletes, I got to finally start working back to where I started, the Boys and Girls Club. I will tell you that now that I go to these events, our office, my office, EAG, we put on events all year long. And for the most part, all the events we put on benefit the Boys and Girls Club. From Tampa, do I have my Tampa people? Jacksonville, Denver, Baltimore, San Marcos, Green Bay. We have some Green Bay people in here. Houston. We just did one in Houston with Tyrann Mathieu before he went over to the Chiefs. But I've had the pleasure of working with the Boys and Girls Clubs across America with my athletes, and I will tell you, it's like I said, it's full circle because I get the opportunity to really look back and go, I was that kid. And again, it's just so poignant in the fact that I really just don't think that you all understand the impact that you have on these children. And I love the new slogan. Frank introduced us to the new slogan, but the biggest part that stood out to me in the slogan was safety. So I'd like to close this in saying, when I came to the club, I think for the most part, most people looked at me and saw a broken little girl. But the club saw hope and a future. And for that, I'm very grateful. Thank you.
LaDainian Tomlinson started going to the Youngblood Boys and Girls Club when he was 7. His friends had just started calling him LT. LT's mom, Lorianne, worked 2 full-time jobs to support her 3 children. As a single parent, the club was integral to her family's life. The club gave LT structure you tend to get at home, like doing homework before going out to play. Right after school, LaDainian would go to the club's education room and do his homework before anything else. LT's favorite club activity by far was flag football. As a 6-year-old, he'd begged his mother to let him play tackle football, to no avail. When he got started at the club, LT felt an opportunity to express his love for the game. As a high school student, LT played basketball, baseball, and ran track, but he loved football best, running for 2,554 yards and 39 touchdowns his senior year. Awarded an athletic scholarship by Texas Christian University, LaDainian led the Horned Frogs to their first bowl win in 41 years. And in yet another spectacular senior season, LT ran for 2,158 yards, scored 22 TDs, and was unanimously selected a first-team All-American. The San Diego Chargers took LT 5th overall in the 2001 NFL Draft. He made an instant impact, finishing the season with 1,236 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns, the first of 8 consecutive seasons rushing 1,000-plus yards and banging in 10 or more TDs. His finest season came in 2006 when he ran for 1,815 yards, scored a league record 28 TDs, and was named NFL Most Valuable Player. Off the field, LT impacts his community and local Boys and Girls Club through Tomlinson's Touching Lives Foundation, enhancing lives through education, social and cultural awareness, and self-esteem. In 2017, LaDainian Tomlinson was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Tonight, we are honored to do the same. Please welcome from the Youngblood Boys and Girls Club in Waco, Texas, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Good evening. It's quite the honor to be here tonight. First off, thank you to the Boys and Girls Club of America for this great honor. Congratulations to the other honorees, well deserved. My wife is here tonight. Thank you, baby, for joining me, LaTorsha Tomlinson. So my family is originally from a small country town, Marlin, Texas. It's a dirt road. Someone knows about Marlin. So let me describe it to you. It's a dirt road that leads you into the town. That same dirt road takes you out of it. When I was about 6 years old, something happened to my family that happens in over 50% of families in this country, divorce. It is at that time where my mother decided to move to Waco and leave my father behind in Marlin, Texas. And it was very difficult, gonna be honest, as a young man, a young kid growing up without a father at the time, not present. Depression hit me at a young age because I couldn't understand why daddy wasn't around. So fast forward a couple of years, we're in Waco. Thank God for my older sister who was 7 years older than I was. She first started attending the Boys and Girls Club. And it was quickly after she started attending, she came home and she ran it down to my mother why my brother and I needed to go to this Boys and Girls Club. Well, we did. And the first thing that we noticed was it was a playground from heaven. As a 6, 7-year-old kid, are you kidding me? It was a playground from heaven. And so the one thing that I really remember the most was our camp director, Mrs. Kim. You're talking about structure. Mrs. Kim has structure. The one thing that she demanded of all of us kids, the first thing that we had to do as soon as we walked into the Boys and Girls Club, hit that education room and go get that homework done. Yes. You see, because that set up the foundation in my life for the rest of my life. That structure that I probably should have been learning from my father, I had to get from the Boys and Girls Club. But that was okay, because it does take a village to raise a family, right? The other thing that I learned at the Boys and Girls Club, how to swim. Oh my goodness. That pool at the Boys and Girls Club was a hit. Every summer, the first day of summer, we couldn't wait to get in that swimming pool. And I remember the first time I got in that pool, I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna drown. But over time, over the course of that whole summer, the staff at the Boys and Girls Club took the time to teach me and my brother how to swim. And now he can outswim me, but at least I can still swim. A few things happened that truly, truly changed my life at the Boys and Girls Club. The first thing, I found my first love, football. Y'all thought I was talking about my wife. No, I didn't meet her until college. I got her in college. My first love, football. And I remember at a young age, about 7 years old, I begged my mom. I would come home and beg her to play tackle football, and she would always say no. What's wrong with flag football at the Boys and Girls Club? And I said, Mom, I've about outgrown it. She said, you're 7. You haven't outgrown flag football. You know, you'll be okay. But it was a sense of a team organized sport where you really had to understand and learn all your teammates. And it was about learning how to win and lose. It wasn't about winning. You had to learn how to lose, because let me be honest, I was a bit of a sore loser when I was young. Hated to lose. Didn't take it very well. But I learned how to lose at the Boys and Girls Club. The other thing that happened, I was about 12 years old, and I would say this single incident changed my life forever, for the rest of my life. I was at the Boys and Girls Club, and on the counter was a flyer, and it said Jay Novacek's football camp, all right? The only name I saw on that Jay Novacek's football camp was Ehlmann Smith. You see, I was a young running back, and I was a big Cowboys fan growing up in Central Texas. And so, of course, Ehlmann Smith was my guy. He was who I idolized. I took that flyer and ran home as fast as I could. I said, Mama, I gotta go to this. Please, I gotta go. She looked at the flyer and it said $250. Now, my mom worked 2 jobs. She said, baby, I don't know if we got the money for you to be able to go to this football camp, but I'll try my best. So she never said nothing about it for about 2 months. She called me in about a couple of weeks before the camp, and she pulled out the flyer. She said, you remember this flyer that you got from the Boys and Girls Club? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, I'm going to take you to that football camp. I'm going to take you. You're talking about just something changing a kid's life. You know, I was just overwhelmed with joy. So I get to the Boys and Girls Club. I get to the camp. My mom dropped me off. And then this camp was at North Texas University. They drop you off for about 3 days, and you stay in the dorm on college campus and all that stuff. It's the real deal. And so I get there, and, you know, I see Ehlmann Smith, Michael Irvin, Jay Novacek, Troy. I see all my idols. And the reason why it changed my life, not the fact of seeing them, the fact that as a kid growing up in a small town, never meeting an athlete, never meeting a celebrity or entertainer, I was able to touch Emmitt Smith. Seriously. And you gotta understand, when I touched him, I just sized him up. And I thought to myself, he's not that big. He's not that big. If he can do it, my God, I can do it. And so, you know, things happen for a reason. I really believe that. So let me just tell you really quickly, over the course of those 2 days, I had 2 interactions with Emmitt Smith. 2. Now, how does that happen? The first one, we're doing a football drill, a handoff drill. And it's a lot of kids, about 300 kids out there. Emmitt Smith decides to jump in our line, and he's handing the ball off to me. You can't make this stuff up. He's handing the ball off to me. And so I'm thinking, my God, can it get any better? Yes, it can. Later that evening, when we're getting ready for dinner, I'm heading up to dinner, and I'm walking down the hallway. I get ready to turn the corner to go up the stairs. Guess who's coming down the stairs at the exact same time? You got it. Emmitt Smith. And he runs into me, and he almost knocks me over. And I'm looking up at him like this, and he's holding me. He says, "Kid, you all right?" Yeah, Emmitt. I'm good. But just the interaction. And that wouldn't be possible if it wasn't because of the Boys and Girls Club. So I encourage you, staff, directors, you never know who you're going to impact, in what ways, how are you going to impact that kid. Keep on leading. Keep on doing what you're doing. Because you know why? You're the blessing. You're the village that raises our kids when daddy or mama can't be there. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
So thank you all for this. This is a wonderful, wonderful class, but every class is wonderful. So just a round of applause for all of the awardees. Thank you for my help tonight, Mr. Malachi Hayes and Miss Ryan Walker. Come on up here, Malachi. Again, ain't nobody gonna help you up on this stage, boy. But you helped the ladies, and we're deeply appreciative. Can we give a hand for Mr. Malachi and Mr. Ryan, Miss Ryan? Will you all take a bow for us? You all take a bow for us? That's a boy who knows how to work it. Thank you all. Thank you so much. You go your way? Okay. All right, brother. All right, all good. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so, so much. As the evening comes to a close, we about to party. As the evening comes to a close, it is important to recognize the profound difference all of you, club staff, board volunteers, donors, are having on the next generation. The stories you've heard tonight represent the impact you all are making on young children and teens in America. As a proud club alumni, I want to personally thank you for your tireless pursuit to change young people's lives for the better. You're all heroes, and I applaud you all. The evening is not over. Now you grab those towels, those beach towels, and the drink tickets, don't forget them drink tickets, and join us across the street. Again, we're across the street, and it's not going to rain, so you must go. At Discovery Green Park, at the back of the ballroom for the Alumni Hall of Fame after party with legendary house band, Emerald City. I will see you all there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And the honorees come up on the stage for pictures.